Welcome to the A.I.P channel where anything is possible, where we talk about anything and everything your heart's desire. And tonight, we're gonna talk about the Great Sphinx, um, Troubled Minds. We talked about it on there last night, and just kind of motivated me. Want me to do one on mine? So ones that missed it on Troubled Minds last night, uh, you'll be able to hear my point of view, I guess, on it. Uh, you can look up the Troubled Minds podcast and check out the full, which has many people come on and post their theories and thoughts and everything. So, uh, but as I get into it, also cool news. You'll be able to hear this podcast on QAP, the Trouble Lines Radio Network, really soon. So just another avenue. And as you're listening, you can listen to many other great shows. Saucedo Paranormal, and of course Troubled Minds, and many others. Just some great shows. You can sit back and turn it on and just listen and have a good time for sure. As I get into it, I want to play this clip real quick. I figured it'd be a good way to start this. Back when I was 16, I guess, when it came out, 15, 16 maybe start questioning the history books when I seen it. There's lots of stuff, I guess, before that, but this was the first one that I saw, and let y'all see that real quick. Little quick beginning here. We do a little sharing, because sharing is caring, and here we go. Here, this music just brings back
the Great Sphinx of Egypt, keeper of the ancient mysteries, guardian of the ancient secrets. The Sphinx is considered to be the greatest statue on Earth. Good evening. I'm Charlton Heston. Every 100 years or so, an idea comes along that can shake the world. An idea so revolutionary that at first no one believes it could be true. When Galileo showed evidence that the Earth moved around the sun, the authorities arrested him. Many people refused to believe that the Wright brothers could fly, even after they'd been doing it for 2 years. But eventually, if the evidence is convincing, a theory can be accepted as common knowledge. What you're about to see could be history in the making.
You know, you got Charlton Heston narrating, it's got to be good. So, Mystery of the Sphinx. You get a chance, check out that show, that documentary off of YouTube. You can get it on YouTube or wherever. It's pretty interesting. Robert Schoch and John Anthony West, they went out there. Robert Schoch, if you don't know, is a geologist, and he just wanted to prove that, you know, the geology of the erosion. And John Anthony West has him come out there and look at it and just take a look and see what he thought just on that point. Because especially then and even now, you don't usually get different fields talking to each other. You know, you don't have geologists or an archaeologist talking to each other to help figure out the puzzle. They all want to stay on their own little little path, their own little circle, I guess you'd say. And they don't, if a lot of these different fields actually talk to each other, I believe there'd be a lot more understanding and coming together. But especially, back 30 years ago, is sure enough no, you don't talk to, archaeologists talk to archaeologists and geologists talk to geologists, and you didn't intermingle, and you didn't, take the same site and try to change what the one said to the other. It seemed like it was taboo back then, what it seems to me. But he proved that through the geology of it and how the structure around the Sphinx was very eroded from heavy rainfall. And now you look in Egypt, it's desert and and all that, and very very little rainfall, and people are always like, how is that possible? That's crazy. But uh, people don't understand. Some don't understand and don't, and look back into the history. The Earth goes through big seasons. The Earth has seasons through the year, but then it goes through big seasons and changes the way it is. During Ronald Carlson, pretty much has proved the youngest dryest theory. That about 12,000 years ago, about 10,500 BCE, that we there was a bad calamity and lots of very fast ways of change. That's why there's a lot of animals died out during that time. There's lots of civilizations disappear, and it's almost like a factory reset way it looks like. There's so far we've found several sites that dates back to that period too. You got Göbekli Tepe. It's sitting right there at that same and possibly older age. You have, and of course, there's many that think the Sphinx is just as old, and possibly even could date back to the younger the period before that, because it comes around every 24,000, I think it is, years. I'd have to look that up to get. Don't quote me on that number. It's pretty close. But it's yeah, right. It could be in the 30-something thousand years old, but probably realistic. It probably is during that 12,000. Though if it was the 34, I believe and it was actually carved as a line, it would be pointed at the constellation of Leo. So it kind of makes sense on that part. Of course, well-known Graham Hancock has posted the theories of this too. Of we are a society with amnesia, and we forgot so much of our history. Just the way they were able to build things and carve things, and I could go back to Tepe. They like the animals on the everything is like 3D. They actually carved the piece down to it instead of like it was pretty amazing. we always, look at, well, we're better than they are, or whatever. We're smarter, this and this and this. Probably not, especially this day and age. We we as a society has got dumber and dumber, truly, because of our technology. We use it as a crutch, and we don't have to know stuff or read stuff or can't even add anymore. It's crazy world we live in right now. Cutting my eyes over here for my notes here. Yeah, one of them. One of the things that shows that it's kind of it is very old structure. It's in the time of Khafre. He actually, I think, there's a stele that says that he had to do work and help rebuild it, and it was the Sphinx come to him as a dream, and wanted him to rescue him out of the sand, and so he dug the Sphinx out and started doing some work and restoration on it. And if you took it at the time of Khafre, you're only looking, it wasn't very long time between the time that the mainstream says it was built. So it truly, with that being said, it truly makes it, it pushes that time back quite a bit. If he's already trying to rework on it, and this thing's, already damaged then it must be much, much older. But if it don't fit in a certain narrative, some people get upset. Won't name any names, but if you follow any kind of Egyptian history or archaeology, some of the names of the ones that want to fight this and fight anybody that goes against them. There's many. There's a claim there's a chamber underneath the paws of the Great Sphinx. There could be a library of knowledge. It could be, there's all kinds of theories on what it could be. Of course, they won't let anybody, truly dig or anything like that. They're trying to find it. They don't want to mess up the Sphinx. So, one day maybe we'll be able to find exactly what's in there through another route or something like that. Even if you get on like good old everything Wikipedia, the Sphinx water erosion hypothesis is a fringe claim. Saying that the Great Sphinx of Giza is enclosing waters eroded primarily due to ancient floods or rainfalls. And, talking about attributing their creation to Plato's lost civilization of Atlantis over 11,500 years ago. And which on Atlantis part, they've kind of some, you could debate it and everything, but it's it looks like some have figured out where the Atlantis was, and it's not exactly where some people think it should have been or whatever, but all the everything adds up to where it's at in Africa, actually. Again, we're looking like so many look at it as just how it looks now, but we got to look back, what it looked like 12,000 years ago. It's just like now. if you go to any city and go back 100 years, it's not even 100 years. It's not going to look the same as it does now. You go back 150 years. You looking like even like Memphis. You looking at Memphis. It was just a little river town, and it really didn't care. Cover very many square miles. Now if you look at Memphis, it covers almost the entire county it lays in. New York. Amazing the difference it has. Tore down and rebuilt, and tore down and rebuilt buildings and this and that. Like Vegas tore down and rebuilt. And that's it all in the last 100 years. So you start going back 3,000 years, 5,000 years. And then you get back to 10, 12,000 years. There's a lot of time for people and Mother Nature and everything else to change a lot of stuff. So it's pretty interesting subject. Like I said, this is the one that's got me was like I said before, like 9/11, what's got me into the conspiracy theory realm and started surely questioning the powers that be, I guess you say. This documentary is the one that shot me in the path of questioning the history I was taught, and lots of the history that even I'm not that old, I ain't that young, I guess, but I'm not that old. Right there in the middle. When I was in high school, a lot of stuff that we were taught in high school has been proven wrong. Like Columbus. Columbus was supposedly, sailed the sea in 1492, and into the Pinta and Santa Marina, and he discovered a new world. But we have now proven that's false. The Vikings are here many years before they were, and many others were still. It was, from Europe came over here. Not to mention the people that are already here, but but the Vikings have been traveling over here for decades, for hundreds of years, actually. It's just over and over again. A lot of the stuff that we were taught and drilled in our heads, and you had to take tests, and this is how it is, and now we look back and all that was wrong. As as you learn and as you grow and in history, things, knowledge increases and we find out more things. But yeah, but it's one of them things it make you go, so much of the history that we were taught was wrong. And now even to this day that, if anybody counteracts anything or says something like, and there's a big uproar, and instead of throwing people in the face, let's debate. Let's have the question. Okay, let's see what your point of view is and go, how did you get this? Let's figure it, is it even possible? If but if you want, the powers that be won't even debate and even ask questions and stuff, stuff that's been set in archaeological stone for a couple hundred years. Well, there's lots of technology and everything else that's come in since then that prove a lot of it wrong. Why you holding on to these few things that if you can open up and listen and not just because a person don't have a PhD, like when Robert Schock was going in front of the universities and stuff, they didn't want to let John Anthony West in there because he didn't have a PhD and he wasn't part of the that world. So he wasn't even able to get on stage and ask questions and show evidence. Uh, just because you don't have a PhD is a great thing, and they work, and I'm sure they worked very hard to get it. Took very many years to get it, but that don't mean you're God of something. That means you worked really hard to get your degree, but just because other people didn't take the time to go get a degree didn't mean they're not working hard and doing boots on the ground and research. Certain people were sitting in universities and patting each other back and say, yeah, this is how it is. Yeah, you're right. And blah, 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 and then you got people with boots on the ground. And that's what we need more is to find out the facts is boots on the ground and looking. Of course, that takes money and time and if you trying to ask about the narrative, people, if somebody sticks their neck out, there's sometimes a career suicide. So it's hard for the establishment to even reach out and try to look at this new stuff and until they actually forced it. So, I sit here and talk about this all night. I don't want to take all y'all's time tonight. Just going to do just a few of my points and few of my thoughts. Like I said, this was, I'll probably go back and I got it on the screen still. When I get done doing this, I'll probably watch the documentary again because, like I said, I just, it's a classic in my mind. And it's it's a good one to see. There's lots of good ones out there, and just because it's don't fit in the box, don't mean it's wrong. So, I guess I'll conclude there. This, like I said, I just had this on my mind from last night. The Troubled Minds was talking about it, and I got to call in and throw my 2 cents in. So, and like I said, lots of other people did too. So it was a great discussion, and that's the beauty of the Troubled Minds. It's people discussing. There's no judging. Lots of maybe juice. Maybe this or maybe that, but no judging of any type like that. So you can have wide variety of points of view, and to very extremes. In a conservative mind that be like, man, that's way out there. Well, it's okay. It's okay to be way out there. Sometimes the way out there is right, and it's been proven over and over again. Like Charlton Heston said at the very beginning of the video, you got when Galileo first said the sun, the earth revolves around the sun instead of the sun revolve around the earth, it was hypocrisy. It was ridiculed. It was insane. And then over time, it's been proven correctly. A lot of times you'll see over the years, a lot of people, had their careers and everything ruined. And after they passed away, they were proven correct. So that's I've seen that time and time again. As you're looking through lots of theories and stuff, how things are. You look back, and then a lot of the people that, the trendsetters that popped up and there's, something new, new fantastic theory, and everybody slammed them. And then, 40, 50 years later, oh, wait a minute, he was right. We talked so bad about him. We ridiculed him, and we cut funding and kicked him out or did all this, Uh, a lot of times they went back and gave them awards to their, family or whatever, but that's still, it's a nice consent, and a thought. But, that man had to live through ridicule through his life and was right. So, again, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all listening. As always, like and share. Um, check out the um, Travel Minds Radio. Make sure I get the letters right. KUAP. There's lots of great shows on there, and I'll be one of them really soon. Once we get everything, all my episodes over there on there, where they can upload them and start playing them in syndicate, I guess. So, like I said, lots of great shows. As always, I'm on Spotify and Apple, YouTube, about anywhere you want, your favorite places to get a podcast. I'm there. And again, let's keep on growing, making this even bigger and better, and see where we can take this. It ain't just me; it's y'all too. So, as always, keep on keeping on, and peace and chicken grease. Thanks. Mm-hmm.